What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormies present the Ahnenerbe Hour. I am Johnny Monoxide. This week I am joined by Hazzard McRee. What's up, Hazzard?
Not much, man. Not much. Another day, another episode.
Right on. And Mr. Adam Haidt. What's happening?
What's going on? Same shit. Working.
Skinny Adam's got a job. And
right.
This week, our guest is Asgardian. What's happening, sir?
Hey, everybody. How are you today?
Doing good. You do a podcast as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've been on Horror Sea Avengers, This Week in White Genocide. I've been on Exodus Americanus.
That's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Exodus Americanus. Right. Yeah. Right on, dude. That's with White Power Ranger Roscoe and who else does that? Is that
Roy Orbison, isn't it?
Is that Vendetta?
No, we have Stone.
Oh, I'm all fucked up.
We have the White Power Ranger. We got Roscoe, and then there's Wooderson.
That's right. Not Goy Orbison. No, Goy Orbison is just a guest on occasional things. Oh, look, he got a shout out. Anyways, that's enough about him. His ego's big enough. So we're back. This is gonna be the day after Thanksgiving, and we're all taking the holiday off, so we're recording this early. So you guys are getting, whatever. But Hazzard, tell us about the social media.
Let's just hope there's not something like a massive uprising of Native American ghosts or something. But with our luck, who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I hope I don't get attacked by a haunted turkey.
That would.
Well, I mean, you need to worry about the spirit of country, Adam, from what I've heard. You better get yourself some salt and make sure. I know we.
Oh, I have plenty of salt over that incident.
Adam's plenty salty.
We don't approve of kosher products generally, but make sure if you're getting salt.
Actually, the place I work,
it's not iodized.
The place I work doesn't serve any kosher or halal food. Pretty stoked about that.
That's kind of cool, actually.
I mean, you guys don't eat challah?
Challah? No.
Challah bread?
Yeah, you guys don't eat the challah?
No. Hey, bread is bad, right? Carbs, keto, all the way. I don't know, whatever. I got yelled at.
Yeah.
I got yelled at for having a piece of toast yesterday, so whatever. I got shamed.
Hey, at least you didn't have a toast sandwich.
I got carb shamed. Yeah.
By who?
Weave, of all people.
Come on. I'll tell you.
I got carb shamed by Weave.
The guy who's drinking 24/7, like expensive, delicious
horseradish vodka.
Yeah.
Ken from Intersectional Alt-Right, bro. He's like adamant about not having any carbs. I'm like, you're gonna die. I'm like, you need to you're gonna have no energy. You're gonna get attacked by a Jawa and you're just gonna fall over. Mm-hmm. You gotta have there's good carbs too. I mean, you can't be sitting there eating loaves of white bread.
Right.
But there's good things that you can.
Wait, you shouldn't.
You also should be training 5 times a day for 2 hours.
That's right.
At a clip.
That's right.
It's the only way to do it.
All right. So
5 times a day.
I don't know about training, but I know about 5 times a day.
All right. Speaking of 5 times a day, how often do you check the Twitter, Hazzard?
Well, I actually do check it pretty often. We've been getting a lot of shout-outs after our episode on the Nephilim. Our Twitter handle is @the_Paranormies. Our email is paranormiespresent@gmail.com. And if you want to throw us some donations, you can send them to our PayPal at the same.
And we do have a Facebook page, too. It's the Paranormies present the Ahnenerbe Hour. Yep. So we're all over all the social media. So last week we discussed the Nephilim, the sons of the gods. That was fun. And this week we're going to be talking about actual paranormal stuff again. Asgardian has a very interesting story to deal with. To do with ghosts and ghosts plural and ghost removal services. So
yeah, I hear ghost removal isn't nearly as simple as kebab removal.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Kebab removal is pretty easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kebab removal is pretty clean cut.
And you don't have to worry about ghost removal after kebab removal because kebabs don't have souls.
No,
They're not real people.
They're just a bunch of camel fuckers. No. Yeah, ghost removal is a lot more complicated, unfortunately, and can take multiple times.
Oof.
Spirit removal, I mean, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you can aggravate them too, which actually
That doesn't sound pleasant.
No, which actually took place. Really wasn't a pleasant experience.
So, yeah, so why don't
Why don't
go ahead and
you
tell us
start
about
at the
that, yeah.
beginning?
Okay, well, I'll start off how we wound up acquiring the house. My wife and I, we had our second child. Neither one of them were in school yet, and we didn't want to live in the town we were in anymore. We didn't want our kids going to school in that school system. So we
You wanted
decided
to get to a place with good schools?
right. And
I'm getting that you fled from one kind of spook and ran into another kind entirely.
right. We committed white flight, if you may. So we got the house and we got settled in. We were painting and we were putting air conditioners in because it was a dead of summer. We don't have central air, and we're in the back room one night by the fireplace, and we're painting that room now. And I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable in here. And my wife actually acknowledged that. She's like, I feel like something's like towering over me, And I'm never one for I wasn't one for believing in this sort of thing. And I was like, it's probably just the light bulbs. I'll change the light bulbs because sometimes they let off. I don't know exactly what the name is. Some sort of electromagnetic. I'm not sure, but it makes you uncomfortable. And so I changed the light bulbs, and nothing happened. My son was in his room one day, and he came running downstairs crying hysterical. He was around 2.5, 3 years old. And I was like, well, what's wrong, buddy? And he didn't want to tell me. So he went and he talked to my wife, and he told my wife, and my wife came back to me. She said that he said someone punched him in the arm and said, get out.
Wow.
Now, this is coming from a 3-year-old.
Wow.
So I figured maybe he heard a noise, he got spooked. I didn't give it a lot of, I didn't put a lot of weight behind it because he's only 3 years old. So the next couple nights he slept in our room. And I would always think that I'm hearing when I'm laying down in my bed voices. So this had never happened to me before until we moved into this house. And I would hear conversations, but they were inaudible. I couldn't really make them out. Now, this was going on for like months at a time, and I didn't say anything to my wife because I didn't want to scare her. And I thought that it was maybe the air conditioners, ambient noise in the background. And I'm like, just let it go. So one night I'm getting ready to doze off, and I close my eyes. Now I'm going to yell. And I hear, ha! Right in my ear. It was like someone was standing right next to me, and I shot up out of bed. And it's scared the hell out of me. Now, I don't scare easily. Okay, so I grabbed my baseball bat, I ran and I checked the house, and there was nothing there. Around 2 weeks later, I'm sitting in my recliner. From my point of view in my recliner, I could see my kitchen through the hallway, in the doorway, and I seen a shadow pass. Now, mind you, there's nothing that casts shadows in my neighborhood. There's no cars behind my house, no one driving past. It's situated where that's really not likely. So I got up, I ran, and I checked. There was nothing there. The day later, I went out to eat with 2 friends of mine up the road, and I came home and my wife was crying. I came home a little late. We had a couple drinks. I thought she was upset because I stayed out later than I told her. I was like an hour and a half later. And I said, what's wrong? I said, you mad at me because I was out late? And she's like, no. And I'm like, then what's the problem? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. Finally, after like 15 or 20 minutes of prying it out of her, she said something grabbed her leg.
Holy shit.
And she was sitting on the couch. And she saw, now I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I'm actually getting a little creeped out again. She said she saw what appeared to be someone a shadow figure crouching behind the other side of the couch. So at that point, I had enough. I mean, there were things that I had experienced which I tried to brush off. And, if it was just my experiences, I wouldn't have given it any thought. But between my son, myself, and now my wife, so I had just called the paranormal investigators, and they decided to come to the house. The first investigation that they did, they performed like a 4-hour investigation. I mean, these people had thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and they do it pro bono. They don't charge anybody anything. 2 weeks later, the guy called me, and I was down the shore. Is everyone there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. 2 weeks later, the guy called me, and I was down the shore on a vacation with my family. And he's like, I'm going to send you some pictures. And I sent the picture to Johnny. I edited a little bit, a picture frame in the background. And the individual who was performing the investigation, I put Pepe on his face. But there's clearly an apparition above his head.
Yep.
And it looked like a wolf.
Can we, I mean, is there any discerning details? Would we be able to put this up when the show goes out?
Sure.
Yeah, I've got the picture in
awesome.
in a DM. Yeah, I'll send it.
Sure.
We'll get it up there.
Thank you.
It's OPSEC, so yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was pretty, it made me sick when I saw it because it confirmed what I was hoping wasn't true. They said that they believed that there were 4 spirits in the house at the time. They did their investigation on the house, and the owners, prior to the owners that owned it before me, they used it as a halfway house. It was discovered that they had children chained in the basement.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So there were some very upset people here. The one woman that they believe was in the house was the owner's mother who died in the house. The people that bought it before we bought it, she died in this house, and she was a nasty woman. And she didn't like when my wife reprimanded the children. So that was that sickening feeling that my wife would get when she would yell at the kids. Like she felt like someone was watching her and telling her, "You really shouldn't be doing this." They did their investigation. They did it. They did a lot of technological work. They had cameras set up, motion detectors. They said the most activity that they got was in my son's room. You'd hear inaudible voices. You'd see the motion detector go off constantly, and then they did the EVPs.
Sorry, they did the what?
The EVPs.
Electronic voice phenomena.
Right.
Doesn't that basically work by using some very sensitive audio equipment to basically pick up minute electromagnetic fluctuations, stuff like that?
I don't understand the technical aspect of it, but I know what came across, and that scared the hell out of me. There was one voice of a woman that said, "Dear God, please help us." There was another voice of a man who, it was a stereotypical growl. He growled. And so they decided that they were going to get some removers, some mediums to come in. We went through 3 mediums to try to get rid of these entities. The first two said that the first one said that they were hiding and that he couldn't get a hold of them. They did not want him there, and they hid from him. The second one got a hold of him, and by the time he was done, he said he was so exhausted he couldn't do it anymore. And the third one finally came in, and they said that this guy is a remover. He's very strong. I don't know much about it, but they said he's very strong, and he can be very confrontational.
Now, were these removers, were they religious people, or were they just...
And to scare my son again. My son said that he had came across an object taller than me. Now, mind you, I'm 6'4". Oof. And he said it looked...
What?
He's a little boy. And he had come across something in the kitchen that the best way he could describe it was that it was a large black Doritos bag.
Whoa.
He said it was all... The exact words he used verbatim, he said, "Daddy, it was all crinkly." And it was. He said it was.
Hell?
He said it was bigger than you, Daddy.
All right, now I'm spooked.
Right. So at that point, I had gotten so mad, I went to every floor of the house and I challenged it. Like, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Like I had enough. Every floor, on basement, the main floor, the floor with our bedrooms, and then the attic. I got so mad, I picked up my bed, I slammed it, and I broke the frame of the of the bed. And nothing. That night I went to sleep, and something picked my arm up and put it on the other side of my body.
Like moved your arm across your chest or whatever?
Moved my arm across my chest.
Now, I'm assuming you're not the sort of person to move in your sleep on your own.
No, I'm pretty still. My wife is the one who kicks the hell out of me at night. But that was kind of like, in my opinion, that was like, we're still here, buddy. Sorry, we're not going anywhere. So this is what happened in between the mediums, and the final medium came in. He was of a Christian-based faith. And he said that there were 7 spirits in the house, not 3. He said there were 7. He couldn't identify all of them. He said, but the one that he was most sure of was the woman of the owner previous to us who died in the house. And there was a man, and he was the ringleader, and he was actually keeping them there against their will. None of them were mean-spirited outside of him. He said the other ones were just there.
Suffering.
Right, they were just there. He said he believes that the one who actually hit my son in the arm was one of the little children that they kept here, and he was trying to play with my son, which actually made me feel really bad. At that point I was sad, even though it scared my son, it broke my heart to know that there was a child here like that suffering. So
So to recap, the original owners were using it as a halfway house, but there was some shady stuff going on. I'm assuming we're talking halfway house for this would have been what, the 1950s or so?
Roughly 60, yeah, let's say 1962.
So we're going to have halfway house. That time, you're going to have not only drug addicts, but you're going to have the mentally ill. You're going to have, your decently high-functioning schizophrenics that can't be on their own. You're going to have children with severe mental illness, probably the ones they were keeping chained up in the basement.
Right.
Just, a whole lot of people there, really against their will, no fault of their own. And then afterwards, once it's done from the halfway house, there's a mean-spirited woman that passed away in the house with the next owners, and then y'all came into possession of the house?
Right. I mean, there were loud bangs in the house that I wasn't able to debunk. I have baseboard heat in my house, and the baseboard heat that we have, it's pretty fluid. I flood I drain the lines every year. There's no banging. There's no air in the lines. And the bang that would take place, it would shake the house. Wow. And they said they believed that it was one of the young men banging his head off the wall downstairs, off one of the poles in the basement, which was made me very uncomfortable. On all the bedroom doors upstairs, there were locks on the outside, bolt locks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the previous owners decided, I guess, never to take them off. They were just too lazy. And there were bolt locks on the outside. Who the hell has bolt locks on the outside of a door of a bedroom?
Wow.
So basically a prison.
Right. And, he said that the man actually was terrified of my son. That's why they broke his ball so much. He said, my son's heart was so overwhelming and so strong. He said all he felt was love when he saw my son. And that's why they broke his, that's why they bothered him so much. Because they were instructed to harass him the most. My son was the one who got it the most, he came in and he got rid of, he says he got rid of all 7 of them. They gave us cups with salt and water that we were supposed to change out every couple days for an extended period of time. And we really haven't had much since. They said you might have some residual energy, just like negative energy that'll make you uncomfortable sometimes, but they said you really shouldn't have anything else take place. And I haven't since. But coming from someone who never believed in this sort of thing, this scared the shit out of me. I mean, all my money was in this house. Where was I going to go? Mm-hmm. And I worked so hard to get this house. This was my children's home, and I really didn't want to give it up. But unbest known to me, the people before us they were getting a divorce when they sold the house.
So you got even more negative energy just feeding the whole thing.
Here's the kicker. The husband lost his job because he couldn't sleep at night.
Oh, wow.
I found this out later on. I actually went and talked to the previous homeowner. And I said, what happened? I said, why'd you get a divorce? He goes, what's going on at the house? I said, now I got angry with him. I'm like, why didn't you say something to us? He said, we had 2 small children. And he said, I couldn't sleep at night. He said, and that's all he would tell me.
Oh, he was just trying to get the hell out of that house.
Right. And
I'm not going to tell them. Shit, these guys are going to buy it.
Right. And he's like, I wound up losing my job because I was late all the time. So, I mean, you could take that for what it's worth. I think that they were trying to keep me up at night, so I wouldn't go to work, and I'd lose my house, and then we'd have to leave the house. So that was pretty insidious within itself. But for me, like I said, I had never experienced anything like this before, and I am a believer now, and I've done my research on things like this, and I've seen how they've wrecked families because they never went for help. Either someone just completely disavows what the spouse is saying or what the child is saying. It causes a lot of fighting. Every once in a while, I would get waves of anger that came over me for like the silliest little things, and like rage. I mean, like rage where like I'd want to break something.
Wow! And it would just come over you for no reason.
Right, the type of rage where it would be the equivalent of like finding your wife with another man. That type of rage, and just for no reason. Like I would just get angry, like out of nowhere. My wife would ask me what I'd want for dinner, and I would just snap. And I've never been like that. Like I'm usually a pretty level-headed person, and I don't like confrontation. And she was shocked, like she was really surprised, and I'd have to take a walk. I'd leave the house and I'd go for a walk. And I mean that happened few and far between, but I definitely think it was attributed to that because we're not under any financial duress. There was no added stressors in the house or anything like that. There was no reason for me to be like that. I wasn't on edge about anything. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my job or anything like that. No one was sick, and it would just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's the story. But the picture for me really drove it home. They had a couple people look at it. They sent it to the UK. They had a friend there, and he thought it was a person turning their head left to right. I thought it looked like a wolf. They were investigating to see if it was Native American, like a burial ground or something like that, and nothing came up for that.
Did the Native Americans have souls?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
it's okay.
We already said that. We already said that the kebabs don't have souls. Do Native Americans have souls?
I guess so.
Yeah,
but I thought it looked like a wolf, which scared me because I'm terrified of werewolves.
Really?
Werewolves. Well, you know what? Think about it. Werewolves, you don't have to invite them in their house. They're running through your wall if they want to. Vampire, You got to invite them in. But that was my story. Nothing, too dramatic. A couple things got knocked off my son's armoire, like a couple toys, and a couple doors would close on occasion. Not slam, but they would just close. You'd walk into the house through the basement, through the garage, and you go up the steps, and you just felt unwelcome. And that's a bad feeling to have in your own home.
Yeah, that is. I can't.
Where are you supposed to?
Yeah, exactly. You own the home. Where are you supposed to go?
Where are you supposed to go? I for the longest time, I'd come home from working late, and I'd find them all on the couch sleeping. They wouldn't go upstairs. So then I started getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm spending all this money, and you're only using a quarter of the house. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was like, something needs to be done.
So how did you go about locating removal services or whatever? What did you? I
actually Googled it.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there was a removal service, paranormal investigators, a town over, and they weren't like some shanty town sort of thing. They had a nice website design. They had their cases documented. I talked to them. because you never know. Like sometimes these people, they might just ransack your house. Like,
Right. Yeah.
But they were really, really good people, and I was very fortunate and blessed to have met them. They had all their cases documented. They had one demonic case where they were terrified. They actually, he said and the guy's a big guy too. He said he ran out of the basement screaming like a little girl. They heard some growling and like a snapping noise, like something snapping its jaw.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said that was enough for him to run out like a little girl and regroup.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So like I said, I've always watched like Ghost Adventures and things of that nature, and I never really believed in it. It was all for entertainment value until it smacks you in the mouth.
Right, I bet.
And, that was a very harrowing experience for me and my family. My little guy, every once in a while, he'll still come into our bed, but he actually goes and plays in his bedroom now. Like, it was so bad, all his toys are in his bedroom. He wouldn't even go in there without one of us with him. And here's the funny part, though. Nothing ever happened to my daughter. Nothing. She never heard anything, never saw anything, that never bothered her. Nothing.
Maybe she's like spiritually or like psychically insulated or something.
Maybe. My wife seems to think that she's sensitive to. But every woman that I meet thinks that she's like some sort of medium.
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now, you said these guys did this pro bono?
Mm-hmm. They do it for free.
Wow.
I tried to pay them. I tried to give them like $200-300 because they probably spent a total of, probably 30 hours at my house. They put in a lot of work, man. And they were very kind to my children, and I tried to pay them, like maybe, to upgrade their equipment or just money for when things go bad with their equipment. And they wouldn't take the money.
So do these guys do this in their spare time, or what?
Yes, this is not. It's not their full-time job. They do it their spare time. The one guy works for an airport, and I think the other one is a stay-at-home mom, his wife. But it's they just do it in their spare time. They said they want to help people. He said he had an experience as a child, and his parents wound up having to sell the house. He said it profoundly affected him because he said he didn't want other people to have to go through that. Mm-hmm. And he saw how it affected his family.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, how that can affect a family. It's like, if the husband's not seeing it, or if the wife's not seeing it, or if the parents aren't seeing that, and they just think the kid is making it up or something. That'd be right up there with financial, troubles. For arguments,
right? And for the longest time, I felt very guilty because I'm telling my son, I'm like, stop being a little baby, go upstairs,
right?
Go play in your room, and then the guilt set in, and I was like, oh my God,
Right. Well, my kid, doesn't like to shower by himself because he's afraid he's going to get eaten by a whale. But that's a legitimate, little kid. I'm like, dude, stop it, all right? Because when I was a kid, I saw Jaws. And, the tub was going to open up and I was going to get eaten by a great white shark. Those movies scare kids, but I don't know where he gets it to get eaten by a whale. But, I'm like, we're a good 50 miles away from a body of water big enough to house anything like that. Get in the shower, leave me alone. But I can imagine, he doesn't want to go into his room because it's dark or whatever. And, you're telling him, just go to bed, stop being a baby. I do the same thing. But I have, damn. Should I feel bad about making fun of him for the whale now?
Yes. Yes. Because think about it. He's a little guy.
No, I know. But I can't. Man, when I was a kid,
whales.
When I was a kid, we were afraid to go. This one aunt's house that we had. Her upstairs was it was an old house in West Hartford, Connecticut. And there's houses in Connecticut and Massachusetts that go back to the early 1700s, late 1600s, some of them. And so this was an old house. I don't know exactly how old, but the upstairs, we were always afraid to go upstairs. And now looking back on it, I don't know. Maybe there was something there that we just we only stayed over there a couple times. That wasn't there enough for it to actually affect me on a regular basis.
Right, and they say they always say children are more sensitive to these things. I don't think they're more sensitive to them. I think what it is as adults, we've been conditioned to believe that there's nothing there.
Yes.
So we always brush off the unexplainable, right?
Oh yeah, they're taking us full circle right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is like OG. This is first episode, right? We kind of talked about this, didn't we?
Yep, we did. We talked about our ghost stories on our first episode.
So I think that just with them, they haven't been conditioned yet to blow off things that should be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
That's my perspective on it. I mean, I don't know.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, we have an entire lifetime of people telling us it's just your imagination, or that you eventually learn habits just roll over and go back to sleep. It was nothing, but kids don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, and anything that is supernatural or whatever or paranormal is just a cartoon now. It's Disney fairies, and ghosts are just Slimer in a movie or something. You know what I mean? It's like they're
non-threatening.
It's all it's all non-threatening. Even if it is threatening, it's just a movie.
Right. Oh, yeah, well, that's a big thing. It's just a movie. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a movie. Well, we don't call it movie magic for nothing. I honestly think there is a lot of magic to what they're doing in Hollywood. That's a whole other topic of conversation.
The one thing I left out was that he would tell me that he would hear laughing in his room at night. And I'm like, and I said to my wife, I'm like, honey, it's probably just one of his toys in his closet. She's like, there are no toys in his closet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
That was always the thing that got me about like the scary parts of like Poltergeist was a very scary movie for me when I was when I was growing up. The Clown, anytime
everybody says that clown, dude. Yeah. Everybody.
Well, I mean, look at how fucking spooky it looked. Like it looked. Who buys their kid such an evil looking toy? Even like when it was just the clown in his room, it was a scary looking thing.
Right. That now it's reaching out with like 8-foot long arms on the bed.
Yeah. And the tree, and then the tree coming into the window. I was afraid of trees for a while when I was a kid. It's like the tree was the tree reached in and grabbed the kid and started eating him, right?
Yeah, it pulled him in. It pulled him out of the room, right?
Yeah, yeah. And when you're a kid, movies, that's another thing is with the whole like go to bed, stop being a baby. It's yes, I know we watched a movie and now you're scared. That's a lot of probably what you were feeling, right? Is like, come on, knock it off.
Right. I'm like, all right, buddy, come on. I said,
it's also the fact that movies are a lot more real for kids because, and television because we understand that I'm looking at a screen. This is pre-recorded. There's nothing to worry about, etc. Kids don't get that. Right. But
I can't imagine having an actual like hearing noises coming out of my closet and stuff like that. That's as a kid. I mean,
I felt guilty, man. I used to tell him, like, come on, Logan. I said, you're a boy. You're not supposed to act like this. You're supposed to be brave.
Right. And I'm not. I mean, we're not trying to shame you here for that. Like, what I
mean? No, but I feel bad now. Well, in retrospect, I'd look back and I'm like, come on, buddy. And I'd see his eyes well up. I'm like, are you crying? What's the matter? And just it's just the way it went. But
I mean, and then you actually saw it too, which is
I saw the shadow that he was talking about out of like my peripheral because I was actually on Twitter. I was on Twitter and I'm looking at something and out of my peripheral I see it and my head snapped and I was like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? And I'm like, this is a joke. But yeah, for someone who didn't believe and now has experienced it firsthand, I could say that this is a very real thing, and for people that are experiencing it, they do need to get help. Don't try to take care of it on your own.
So you don't think it's a good idea for people to like Google like ghost removal rituals and do them themselves?
No, not at all. Definitely don't antagonize it the way I did.
Yeah.
Don't do any what is it? Provocation, I think.
Provocation. Yeah.
Provocation. Yeah.
I wouldn't. If I knew there was a ghost in my house, I would definitely not go to like what's WebMD and look up. I mean like I don't self-diagnose. Yeah, well, no, I'm saying like
the next thing you know, Satan is in your house.
Yeah, exactly. Because with my luck, I'm summoning Azrael and all the big demons and Satan himself.
Right.
And it's not going to be pretty.
Christians.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so you said one of them.
I gotta say though, real quick, I'm Man, I understand why your son was scared, though. I'm pretty spooked just hearing you describe the big crinkly thing. Something about that is just really, I don't know. It's like hitting my animal brain or something.
Right.
Imagine this big, like, wriggling, vibrating, crinkly thing.
Black. It was all black, he said. You know, they think that was the man trying to scare him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what'd you do to it? He goes, I looked at it for a second. I was like, and? He was like, I said, go away. I was like, well, what happened? He was like, it went away.
Huh.
You know, but just to see that as a child, you know, the medium said that, you know, my son's heart was just the medium said that he was overwhelmed by my son's heart, which made me feel good at the same time. But I guess they didn't like that. I don't know.
Kind of made him a target.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, but like I said, to experience this firsthand was really something that I would have rather had not done. But
yeah,
but now that it's happened, it's opened my eyes to a lot of things that everything that we see might not be what it is.
Right.
You know, there's things going on outside of our ability to understand and see that are in front of us.
Definitely true. That is, and the past few weeks has proven over and over again. You know, we're finding out that things that people have been made fun of for believing are now turning out to be true more and more every day. You know. Yeah,
and you feel terrible for the people that were lambasted and mocked and ridiculed and made fun of for even opening their mouth about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of these people were legitimately scared.
Yeah.
You know, and they were looking for help, and people just blew them off and told them grow up, or, you know, don't be so scared, or it's just your imagination. And a lot of these people were adults.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, you know, I looked at my wife. I told her, I'm questioning my sanity.
Well, I bet. I mean, it's got to make you at some point, if nobody else can see it or nobody else can hear it, you know. Well, am I just crazy then? You know, is that a possibility?
Yeah, you're getting gaslit by a ghost.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's what it's got to feel like when nobody believes it, but then
getting ghostlit.
Ghostlit. Ooh. Being ghostlit. That's another new term. I like that. That's a good one. A paranormal term. Being ghostlit. Good one, Adam.
Ghostlit.
Yeah.
So what is the definition of ghostlit? When you're the only one that can hear it or see it and no one else can. And it knows that you're the only one that can hear it or see it.
Yeah, when a ghost is trying to gaslight you.
Yes.
Right.
Oh.
Good one, Adam. Right. That's a really good one.
That's excellent. Well, it's funny because I was being ghostlit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laying in bed hearing these inaudible conversations, and my wife right next to me could not hear them.
There you go.
I thought it was the position of where I was by the air conditioner, and I'm like, switch with me for the night. She's like, I hear nothing.
Wow, that's crazy. That's the name of this. That's the name of this episode. Asgardian gets ghostlit.
I like that.
Cool. Yeah,
and the guy that owned the house before you, he got ghostlit.
He got ghostlit. Yeah.
Except it worked.
The same thing happened to him. Yeah, I guess they tried. They didn't go for any help. Well, you know what happened was he lost his job, and they couldn't afford the house anymore. And she got so frustrated with him because he lost his job.
I bet.
You know, she didn't believe him, and
because of all the ghostlighting.
Right, and it was sad. They had 4 kids.
Oh,
that's really sad.
Yeah, it was. You know, this
were they a white family?
Yes.
Right.
And
have you guys noticed that there's not
white
a lot of, it's always white people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, who else gets married to have kids?
Well, not only that, but
not just that. Good point, Adam, but like not just that.
It's very true. But you know what it is though? That leads me to believe, and this is my personal opinion, we're not entirely of this planet.
I'm also of that opinion.
I don't, because we're so different. Like I'll walk into a convenience store, like a 7-Eleven or a Quick Check, and it's all little brown people,
mm-hmm.
and I feel so out of place. And they're looking at me like I'm an alien. I'm like, well, maybe I am.
Well, you're also borderline of our topic of last episode. You're borderline Nephilim size. So you know.
What is Nephilim?
The children of the gods. They were giants. So you're borderline.
Really?
Like, you're a big boy. So I can imagine
That's cool.
that walking into a crowd of Guatemalans are going to be like, Jesus Christ, this guy's huge. You know, I don't get. I get the same feeling.
Here comes a deportation force,
right? I get the same feeling walking into there, but it's not because. I mean, I'm different. I'm definitely different.
Well, I
because
mean,
I'm
obviously,
white.
Johnny, you're not part Nephilim.
Probably not. Probably not.
But yeah, it's a very weird feeling when you walk in there, and I'm not threatened by them. I don't feel like they're looking at me as if they want to, hurt me.
Right, but I definitely when I get onto the train in the afternoon. It's not in the morning because it's mostly white people going to work, but in the afternoons, it's full of all the others, and I definitely feel different around groups of them. You know, they don't think like us. They don't act like us. They don't have the same physiology as us. They're definitely different than us.
No, definitely not the same physiology.
Yeah,
Nowhere
I mean
near.
the skull. People try to pull the whole, race thing or whatever. You just the skull research. I mean, come on. Anyways, we're not going to divulge into that too. We're getting too far
Right.
off the ghosts. But no. Are white people the only ones that get ghostlit? Do they actually? The white people the only people that get that are into hauntings? Really, that's something I'd like.
I'd say 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
you get a couple Spaniards.
Well, yeah,
Spanish
there's
people.
always they'll see they'll see Mary in the beans. You know what I mean? They'll see the Virgin Mary in the tortilla. I cook you tortilla, come on, you got the Jesus right here. But that's more religious. What do they call that, Hazzard, when you're seeing shit that's religious?
Pareidolia.
Thank you.
Pareidolia. Is that like when they see?
Like when you start seeing patterns and faces and shit.
Okay, not to be confused with stigmata.
Yep.
Stigmata is when you have the injury, the religious, or
jeez.
Where like you'll start bleeding.
Right, that sounds like it would hurt though.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good pain.
It's whoa, easy there, skinny Adam. But one of our buddies, Grayfield, who's one of our hosts.
One of our boys.
He had a stigmata incident where he just randomly got a cut on his finger, but he didn't cut himself. And it was when he was.
Well, it wasn't random. Didn't he mention?
Yeah, it wasn't
spirit?
random. Yeah, he mentioned a
demon,
a certain volcano demon, and it ended up with a stigmata on his palm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, yeah, right, whatever. But right, it happened, it.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. 2 years ago, I would have been like, you guys are out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And now experiencing what I've experienced, I think it's plausible. I really do. I don't put anything out of the realm of possibility anymore. It's just, it's wild when you think about the possibilities that are there. Because along with the bad also comes the good as well. It's not all bad. It's not, in my opinion.
Right.
It's not. It would have been nice if it was a relative that was in my house.
Yeah, that's something else I want to talk about a little bit, and then on the second half. Why don't we go ahead and take a little break here? And we got a new song, didn't we, Hazzard?
Yeah, we have another song by Hollandier, who sent us $100. He sent us a new song he made called March of the Frogs.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
We're going to play March of the Frogs.
Sounds neat.
Yeah, and we'll be back in a few. right, everybody, we're back. This is still the Paranormies present the Ahnenerbe Hour. I'm Johnny Monoxide with Hazzard, McRee, Adam Haidt, and Asgardian. We're talking about ghosts and ghost removal. That was a pretty intense story there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't shared this story with anybody. Just, I mean, you're out of fear of them not believing me. But I met Johnny not too long ago, and he was like, "Oh no, dude," he's like, "We got a Paranormies show." He's like, "I'm into that stuff."
Love those kind of stories.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I'd safe to say that I don't watch Ghost Adventures anymore in my house.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
Don't do that.
It just sounds like an invitation for more shenanigans.
They said
don't want to taunt them.
No, they told us don't watch those shows in the house anymore. Do yourself a favor, all right?
Yeah,
so I took the word at face value.
I bet, man. That's, like we were saying, like, you don't want to do the removal yourself, or you don't want to invite them in.
I mean, here's the thing. Like they said, there's going to be residual negative energy for a while. So if you start dwelling on things, adding more negative energy to it, while the ones that were there are gone, you might just attract something new.
Right. You can actually open that door up again, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, you still want to talk?"
Mm-hmm.
No.
No? All right.
Really.
Doom, door shut. Yeah. The door slams on you, then you know the ghost is, yeah. But,
yeah.
So I was saying,
we still do.
I was going to say, when I told you guys I wanted, there's the, the remove the ghost yourself thing. I found a website called blackwitchcoven.com, and they give you step-by-step instructions.
Do they have any spinning pentacles?
No spinning pentacles. No spinning pentacles.
Dude, no. We can't trust them. There's no spinning pentacles. There's no skull gifts. Fuck it. They can't be legit.
But they have a ghost removal ritual. It's a tutorial. So they say, ask. Now, Asgardian, I'm going to ask these questions now. Did you ask yourself all these questions before? Because some of these things in and of itself. All right, check this out. Are you sure it's a ghost associated with the property and not a relative just visiting?
No, I wasn't.
Right. Do you recognize the energy of the being? Make sure it isn't a spirit guide. This could have been, okay, sure, whatever. What events, if any, happened prior to you noticing the disturbances? House remodeling, baby was born, you brought a new pet home. Sometimes pets and children attract fairies to play and protect them. If the fairy is being a nuisance, you can simply ask them to stop. Now, did you try just saying stop it?
Like, like I said,
right.
I went through every floor of the house and challenged it. I told it, I was like, fuck with me. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
1v1 me, scrub.
Right, I wanted a fight. I was like, in real life, right now.
Right. All right. Did you buy or acquire any antiques recently? Sometimes antiques can have a spirit attached. No. Great. Be right back ordering more.
I guess it turned out it was just the house.
Right. Yeah. And then, did you try asking it what it wants? That alone may get rid of it. You didn't care, right?
No,
yeah.
I didn't. I was afraid to know what it wanted.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
That's what scared. That scared me the most. So I didn't want to know.
Oop! You guys, my internet cut out again. Did you guys hear? Did you guys?
Ah, Johnny.
No, we're good now. I think it's the ghost. No.
They said that it can screw with you like that. Their car broke down on the way here.
Wow.
Oh, they're like, oh boy.
It was a 2015 Subaru.
And yeah, brand new vehicle.
I bet with the experience they have, they were just like, the car broke down and they were just like, oh, it's gonna.
Sorry.
Oh, I said probably when the car broke down, the guys in the car were just like, oh, so it's gonna be one of those then.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can imagine. So this ritual suggests that you invoke a deity to help you, and it says they suggest either the Archangel Michael or Anubis. What? Like, how do you go from
that's really weird
from the Archangel Michael to Anubis?
Well, Guardian of the Dead.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, he would be able to just tell them, "Hey, knock it the fuck off."
It's funny you guys brought up Michael the Archangel. When I was born, my mother was really, really sick, and she wasn't. They didn't know if she was going to live or not. And my great grandmother named me, and she named me after Michael the Archangel.
Oh,
that's really. I'm actually named after Michael as well. My middle name.
Oh, cool, man.
And my brother, my brother too.
Doxed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we can cut that if you want.
They're just gonna Google Michael and be like, it's just a picture of me.
Right, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's just Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's like people like hearing something like that. Like they're gonna
and
get.
it's like
all
the
your...
fifth most common name in America.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's who she named me after. But this whole self cleansing ritual, wouldn't you guys be kind of nervous to do something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Well, but it says,
of course.
But it says, no, hang on. It says, having an uninvited spirit in the house can be a real pain in the bum. You probably even brought the spirit into the house yourself, playing around with Ouija boards and not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, blame the victim.
Right. This is a basic ritual for beginners to remove a ghost. There's nothing scary about the process. You will be perfectly fine. Why do you have to, it is used by many white witches, including pagans and Wiccans.
Hold up. They're suggesting you invoke an ancient Egyptian deity of the dead, and then a paragraph later, they're like, "Don't worry, guys, totally legit. Nothing can go wrong here."
Right.
Well, I gotta say though, from this website, I went to the blackwitchcoven.com. The recent posts, I gotta read some of these. Preparations for sex magic. How to create a very strong, and that's all caps, very strong love potion. How do you know if the demon hex has worked on my ex-boyfriend?
What?
And then a good one here is, who is this black spirit in my house, and what does it want? Yeah, it's probably not a spirit. And
Tell Tyrone to either pay rent or
Gibbs me that. Gibbs me that.
That's what he wants is Gibbs.
You know what? Now think about this for a second. What a cruel and horrible person that woman was. How do I know if the demon hex worked on my ex-boyfriend?
Right.
I know, right?
Are you
What a
kidding me?
vindictive bitch.
Go pop his tires or something. If you're that hard up. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got to be an angry ex-girlfriend, go do something that's like that. You're gonna summon you're gonna put a demon hex on the guy so that he gets his house haunted and whatever. Like, no, that's really, really a vindictive, bitchy thing to do.
They could kill him.
Yeah,
You don't know what it's gonna do.
You could damn his soul to hell.
Right?
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Like a lot worse than death could happen.
Yeah. That's a good point. See,
He could get stuck in a room with Tyler.
Come on. All right, but no. So it's not scary. So hey, because white witches do it.
Totally legit.
Right.
Trust us.
So they say yes. They suggest the Archangel Michael. He works with ghosts. There's many others you can petition, such as Anubis or Papa Legba. I don't know what Papa Legba is.
Can we ask the ghost of Dan Aykroyd?
Oh. Did Dan Aykroyd die? I thought it was Harold Ramis that died.
No, Harold Ramis died.
Yeah,
okay, can we ask the ghost of Harold Ramis?
Right.
No, I'm gonna go now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, we're not asking ghosts anything on the show. We're not doing that. So first you ask the deity to help, and you offer the incense or candle or wine or whatever. You have to give it an offering for the deity, and you tell them that you have a soul that needs to be released from your living space, and and for your protection, while the portal is open, and to please close it up after the spirit is gone. So you put out the offerings, you ask the deity for help. I also call on the entity's ancestors, as well as mine, to escort the spirit away. You light some incense, and you visualize a tube with vacuum suction coming out of the sky and covering your entire property, and it will suck anything harmful out. So you need to Gibbs the house to suck. And visualize the spirit not having a hiding place, since the place is flooded with light and suction. Like this is hilarious.
What the fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah.
It's funny. You perform something like this, and the next day you go to work, and your house gets sucked into the mouths of hell.
Exactly. You come home, there's nothing but a giant hole. It's like the end of. It's like at the end of Poltergeist when it just collapses in and on itself and whatever. So then you walk counterclockwise, smudging with the incense while visualizing the ghosts leaving. You will feel when you are done. And then when you're done, you thank the deity for helping, visualize the tube of light disappearing, and that should be the end of it. Once
Yeah,
is
make
usually
sure you
enough.
put the
That
vacuum
is-
away when you're done with it.
That is the most like womanly thing I've ever heard.
That's asking to get raped by a succubus in your sleep.
Exactly. You were literally.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad.
Speak for yourself, man. I've had enough of this shit.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of anything. But you know what really bothered me? What you just said? The walking backwards.
Walk back. Yeah, walking backwards counterclockwise.
Walking
yeah.
backwards. That doesn't sound right at all. That sounds like you're getting set up for something there.
Well, no. Have you ever
It
seen
turns
like?
out the guy who wrote it is just waiting outside and like breaks through the window while you're distracted.
It makes it sound. But here's the thing: is like, the more that we've gotten into these subjects and stuff like the occult and magic, and we find out that that high level government officials are doing black ritual magic with actual satanic witches, or you're actually dealing with actual paranormal stuff. Like the more we get into this, the more you probably shouldn't play with this shit. Fucking around with a Ouija board, ha ha ha. What? Like Parker Brothers made a Ouija board, and they're selling, a portal to the other side, basically, and kids are playing with it, and I'm sure, it's one of those, if you believe hard enough, well, got kids who still see these things, because kids can still see these things because they haven't had that whole growing up process of taking it away from you yet. Imagine how many kids have actually summoned or brought or talked to things. Fucking around.
That's terrifying.
Thinking
about that. And the kids sometimes they don't understand the danger that they're in.
Right. Right.
Thinking it's just all fun
I mean,
and games.
honestly, I think the lesson we should take about it is if you're going to violate some taboos and, be edgy, just fucking go smoke a joint and then eat a dozen Jack in the Box tacos. It's probably safer.
Yeah. I can't stress enough, after what my family has gone through, do not play with this stuff at all, because you know how George Soros is a nation wrecker? These things are family wreckers. Don't do it. I mean, thank God my family, we came through intact. We're fine, we're healthy, we're happy. We're a good nuclear family. But
yeah, the previous family didn't fare so well.
No, sadly, and I didn't understand when we went to look at the house. The realtor said they're getting a divorce, and I was like, why? I'm like, they had beautiful kids, nice. I couldn't understand it. They both looked, healthy. They weren't like alcoholics or drug addicts. They didn't have any disabilities. I just couldn't understand it. I should have known better, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Was the price of the house a little bit too good?
No. We walked in. It's a big house. I mean, it's a big colonial. It's got 6 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It's a big house. And the people before them offered them $1,000 less what they were asking for, and they said no, because they knew the worth of the house, the neighborhood, the school system. And I said, give them what they want. I said, it's ideal for us. I said, just give them the asking price. I'm not going to haggle these people, and then someone comes in a day later and gives them their asking, and we lose the home. So they had some leverage. They knew their situation, their geographical.
I don't even think I've been in a house with 6 bedrooms.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, that was part of the problem. The house was so big. That
A lot
you
of hiding places.
Not that. Whoa, God! I just got goosebumps when you said that. Not just hiding places, but you didn't always know where the noise was coming from.
Right, because it's so big. Yeah.
Right.
Coming from that side of the house, there's so many rooms over there.
Right, and I'm running like a lunatic, thinking someone's in the house, and I'm like, I got to kill this person because I have 2 children in the house.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm like, I'm in murder mode at that point, because I have two young children that aren't even in the 5th grade, and I'm like, what is this person doing in my house? So, I'm getting ready to shoot somebody, but there was nothing there, nothing.
That's crazy.
I would have rather have encountered somebody.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you guys. In retrospect, I would have put them through a couple walls and threw them out the bay window. That would have been it. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
No, that was
and now
worse, yeah.
Right. Now, I would rather fight 5 people at the same time than deal with what I dealt with. I'd rather get beat mercilessly than that. I can't explain to anybody that listens to this podcast how dreadful it was to come to your own home and and not feel welcome there, you know, and at the same time being the man of the house, not showing it to my family.
Right.
I had to put on a show for them, so they weren't uncomfortable, you know. Because the one time I freaked out, my wife lost it.
Yeah, you can't.
So
you
I
can't
was
let
like,
them see that you're afraid too.
No, I was like, I can never do that again. Because when she saw me lose it, she got it even worse. So
because that just validated everything for her probably when you lost it. You know.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. She was like, I've been right this whole time. I've told you I'm not crazy. You know. Yeah, you're right. It did validate it for her when I lost it. Because I was very grounded. You know, I was always looking for, you know, in my line of work, cause and effect in real time is very real for me.
Right.
And I was always looking for, why did this happen? I would try to actually set things up in the house that would make the noise. I couldn't replicate it. For the life of me.
That's got to be creepy, man.
I couldn't do it. Yeah, like I would spend hours, like trying to do stuff. Like they go to my in-laws, like for dinner. I'm like, no, I'm going to stay home. I got some stuff I want to work on in the house, and I would actually sit there and try to replicate these noises alone. Now, mind you, alone in this goddamn house, and I just couldn't do it. You know what? Come to think of it, I left something out. When we first got the house, I was alone here for a week because I was prepping the house for the babies. I didn't want them here yet because I had to clean the house, I had to paint it, and I was installing an air conditioner unit, and I felt something behind me, and I brushed it off. I felt, you know, like you feel like someone's standing on top of you.
Yep.
And I was squatting down, and it felt like it had physical advantage over me because I'm squatting down, and it's like leering over me. That's what I felt. And I brushed it off. And I hadn't felt anything for a long time since then. But now that I think about it, that's something that I probably should have paid attention to because I had never felt like that before. You know what I felt like for the first time in my life as an adult male? I felt physically vulnerable.
Shit.
Physically vulnerable. Like I said, you know, I train hard. I'm always in the gym. I consider myself that I'm pretty strong. And for the first time in my life, I was like, I'm going to get hurt. Like I actually thought someone was there.
Wow.
You know, like you expect to turn around and you're going to be in a fight. You know, that's what I was thinking. You know? But nothing there. So anyway, I'm sorry. Back to that ritual thing.
Yeah. So the ritual.
That's some bad advice.
It's some really bad advice. It sounds like, you know. I mean, like, you know, first of all, you want to get a hold. You know, like you just call up Michael or Anubis, and you know, and then just you know, ask them to help you when you have no experience or any sort of, you know, well, mostly experience. Like that's not something I think that anybody should be fucking around with. You know?
No, you know, and even Michael the Archangel, even though he is an angel, he was a bad dude.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to piss him off and bring him into your house either. What happens if he's aggravated? Like, you called me for this?
Right. Exactly.
You know? Like, I got other things to do right now.
Yeah, that's what gets me about it. It's just how, like, casual and unserious the whole, like, thing that they wrote up is.
Yeah, that's not a power you want to be invoking lightly.
No, just call upon one of the most powerful angels in the history of what we know. Invite him into your house.
Invite him into your house because you hear a noise. You know, and yeah, go ahead.
And hope he doesn't take offense to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what if you're not really... What if you actually get a hold of Michael the Archangel and you don't have a ghost? You know, now he's going to be pissed, I'm sure. You know?
Right.
He's going to make you into a ghost and exercise you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like 30 people just died because you...
Yeah.
I wasn't there to help them.
Yeah. Way to go.
You know?
Way to go.
Something like that. You know?
No, that's dangerous. I mean, like, even, like, Adam, you're talking about the demon hex ex-boyfriend thing. Like, even fucking around with that kind of stuff. Like, you know, girls, even boys or whatever, and little kids doing magic, you know, I mean, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any young guys and girls listening, don't do that at all. You know, don't
mess
play
around
games
with that stuff. I mean, unless you really, unless, like, I don't know. I mean,
Unless you're damn well ready to get whatever you may.
Yeah. If you're gonna mess around, maybe that's what it is. If you're gonna mess around with it, at least know that you could put yourself in some serious danger.
Right. Like one person that I know of that is so strong in her faith that she would. You guys just had her on recently, Bella.
Yes.
She would probably be able to handle something like that, just because of her faith in God and how strong it is. My faith isn't. I'm not as well grounded as she is in those things. She has a much better knowledge too. Mm-hmm. So if you just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's just the best.
Don't fuck around summoning spirits, people. Like,
don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah.
No, not at all.
So, damn. So what kind of? Okay, so you said they brought out those. Would you call them E something?
EVP.
EDPs.
Yeah, electronic voice phenomenon.
And did they have? Did they bring any sort of like containment devices or any type of stuff? Like you know how in Ghostbusters they had the little fucking thing you slide across the floor.
Right. He's like, no, we don't attempt containment or anything like that. He's like, we don't really think it works. He said we don't believe in that. He said they definitely do believe in collecting EVPs, and there were some names that came up during the EVP sessions, and one of the names was the man who owned the house before us.
The guy who sold it to you, or the
guy who sold it to us.
Okay.
His name came up. There was like a Mary, a John, Jesus, and a couple other different names.
Can we just get some EVP?
No, unfortunately, no. That would be the Loud House. But sorry, and
that's all good.
Mary, John. I think there was an Anthony, Christopher.
It wouldn't be a true New Jersey house without an Anthony in there.
No, that's true. Christopher. hey, Anthony. And I forget what the last one. Oh, Pepe. No, I'm kidding.
For a second, I was like, what?
No, that would have been pretty cool. I probably would have fell off my chair if that took place. I would have been like, oh, my God.
Right.
I was like, where's TRS? No, but
who are you going to call?
Right, TRS. And it was really uncomfortable to hear the names.
I bet, yeah, because it's like, wow, these are actually now you have people's,
This is real.
Yeah,
this is real now.
Yeah. Now, when you said the guy who owned the house, it was the person you said that sold you the house, right? That's the guy.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The owner of the house right before us.
Now, can you go back again and talk about the locks on the outside of the doors?
Yeah.
So that was were those from the guy who owned it before you, or were they just there, kind of a thing?
They were there from the original owners. The people that we bought it from were too lazy to take them off.
Okay.
That seems like a bad situation if you've got kids. Like, they don't really understand. They could accidentally lock someone in or something,
Right. It's, just a bad idea. And I didn't notice them until I started painting. Because, when you go look at a house and you're like, oh, it's beautiful, you get caught up in everything. You're not looking at the minute things. That happens at buyer's remorse. That happens whenever you make a big purchase with anything.
How many rooms had the locks on?
Every bedroom.
Every bedroom.
Except the master bedroom.
That is some like...
So it's basically a prison with a warden's office.
Yeah.
Right. Well, exactly.
Well, it sounds a lot like some foster homes I've heard about.
Right, so immediately I took them off.
Yeah.
I was like, zip, 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 zip. I started pulling them all off. I didn't even tell my wife. I spackled them, went right over the holes. And I was like, well, it was just really uncomfortable to see that. I've never seen that before. I'm like, why are there locks on the outside of these doors? Who's getting locked in here?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had two.
Oh, wow.
Downstairs, in the basement, there was a old, cedar wood chest. And my wife liked it. And after the first investigation, as they were leaving, the paranormal investigator, as I'm going down the steps, he's like, "This needs to go now." He's like, "It has to go now." I'm like, "Well, where are we putting it?" He's like, "In the back of my trunk, and I'm throwing it in a dumpster on the way home."
Wow.
So that's what happened there.
Well, we got the story out of the way. That was good, dude. And
yeah, very good story. Thank you again.
I hope it helps. You guys get some good listens off of it. It was nice to share it with people that actually are interested in that sort of thing too. Very nice.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Like you not being able to get it out there, and plus it is still fairly recent too. You know.
Right. It's fresh. You know.
Yeah.
It's fresh. Lovely. Now it's going to come back.
Now,
I'm not worried about it. We still do the salt in the water and stuff like that.
Good.
You know.
That's the one thing that like the residual.
Right. They said it helps pull the energy away or something like that. I don't know.
Right on.
So that's what they do.
So yeah, so they were more exorcists then. You said they didn't do any sort of containment. Did you ever contact anybody who did say that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I contacted it got so bad one night, guys. I actually went to a hotel room with my family.
Jesus.
And that's when I called them from there.
Yeah, I can. That's the final straw right there.
That was it. Yeah.
You're not kicking me out of my house.
Right. I left them a voicemail. It was like 4 in the morning.
Wow.
You know. So you guys got to call me back as soon as you can. I need to talk to you.
Yeah, that's a crazy ghost story, dude. I mean, like now that you mentioned, remember you said that was the first time you ever felt like a presence on you or behind you or whatever when you were by yourself that one time. That was like, I always said that I hadn't ever encountered anything like that. But the more I think about certain things, like that story about when I was in the Navy and I was in that area where the kid had hanged himself, and and like it just, you know, nobody ever went down there after a certain time at night. But at certain points, you have to, like, if you're on watch, you know, you have to actually walk around, like like when we were in port, you know, and you're on your duty section, you have to sometimes stand watch, and it's making a round of the ship. Well, everybody just checked off that they would go down there, but nobody would ever go down there. Well, I would go down there, and I actually once or twice actually felt like someone was down there with me, but I was just like, I'm just fucking making this, you know. But now that the more I think about
it, because that's because you were conditioned at that point to not even think about it.
Yeah, you've been well trained to just go, no, nothing. I'm imagining things.
You
know, it's just like I said when they went and got the mediums. The first medium couldn't even get a hold of any of them because they were hiding. The second medium got a hold of a couple of them, but he was so exhausted at the end that he's like, I can't do it. He's like, the one is too. He said the male is too strong. And he is adamant about staying. Adamant. He said that the male had got so nasty with him. You know, horrible names, invoking other people's names and spirits and stuff like that. He was furious.
Calling for backup.
Right. Yeah. Probably. And the final one came in, and it took him a good 7 hours, they said, to get rid of everything.
That's crazy. I mean, like, you know, you always see in the movies, like, you know, the exorcist is you know, fighting, you know, spiritually with the thing, and it's like it's physically taxing and whatever. And it, you know, the more stories I hear like this, the more I can imagine it actually is. You know.
The last one said that it felt like it was trying to drain his energy, like trying to make him tired so he would quit. But he was, what happened with the last one, he was so adamant and persistent, he finally got the other spirits to come forward, he said. And they finally opened up and they said, it's him, he's not letting us leave.
Wow.
So at that point, he was able to turn his attention completely towards the male that didn't want them to leave. And that almost left him powerless once they told the medium that. Once they confessed that, you know, that Jesus Christ, please help us, that was them asking us for help because he was holding them captive.
Wow.
Right. They weren't. The other ones weren't mad or trying to hurt my family.
Right.
They were begging us for help.
Because there was a big bad guy keeping everybody there.
Extremely malevolent spirit.
Mm-hmm. Right. He didn't want to let them go. And they said he enjoyed the power over them. He was very abusive towards them, and he did not like my son.
Wow.
But for some reason they said
you finally die, you know, your last thoughts are like, well, at least whatever's over, and then nope.
Yeah. Right. He didn't like my son, but he said he couldn't do anything to my son. So, and that enraged him even more.
So well, I got to take off, so.
All right, Adam.
All right.
Thanks a lot for coming on. Great story.
Yeah, Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're not going anywhere yet there, Asgardian. So. Right on, Adam.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Later, man.
All right, now let's talk shit about Adam. No.
Country Adam was always better.
Oh, man. Stop the Country Adam meme. That's mean. Because plus nobody knows what that is, and Adam's not here to cringe about.
No, I don't know what it is.
It's just
like, okay.
Nah, it's an online inside joke about.
It's a meme.
Oh, okay.
It's a meme that there's a better Adam than him who goes by the name of Country.
That's horrible.
Goes by the name who goes by the name of Country Adam, and everybody likes Country Adam better, kind of thing, you know. And that's the kind of the joke. It's mean. But anyways, dude, yeah, that sounds like that was like the guy, the spirit. The bad guy or the malevolent one, whatever, was the person who probably put the locks on the doors. You know,
Possibly. I mean,
like-
I
It was
thought
the original owner, yeah.
I've thought about that. The original owners are dead.
Mhm.
You know, I definitely have given thought to that was him because he was angry as all hell.
yeah,
You know,
and he was keeping
very,
things
very
there.
angry.
So keeping things would involve, you know, like you keep people in their room with a lock. So like, you know,
Why wouldn't
Yeah,
he
that-
extend it past death?
yep, trying to extend his man. That's
Just a rotten person.
yeah, it sounds like it. And I mean, like the big black thing. I've heard stories about people seeing that kind of an apparition, where it's a
Yes.
big. It's not necessarily, you know, your fucking Casper the Ghost shaped thing with the little
No.
wispy tail, or it's not shaped like a person, or it's just a thing and it's black and it's, you know, scary.
Right. And that's why my son, you know, he said it looked like a big Doritos bag, Daddy.
Mm.
That was the best way he could describe it. You know,
I've heard.
he said there were squiggly lines everywhere.
Huh. I've heard something similar that somebody said that. Well, when we were at camp, we were telling ghost stories or whatever. You know, like I made mine up because I didn't know one. And one kid said that he had seen, and it was basically what your son described. It would have been, I don't think he called it Doritos bag, but a big rectangular shaped thing that was full of. He called it like TV static. Remember when you used to get regular static on a regular TV before
Right.
you had
Like with the rabbit ears.
with the rabbit ears? Yeah, he said it was all TV
Or you
static.
try to watch, or you try to scalp a wrestling pay-per-view for free.
Right, everybody's green.
You
Yeah.
tried to listen to it. Yeah, yeah, man, it's just what an experience, man. You know, I just can't say enough about it as to how profound it was for me. You know, to actually see these things go down. You know, now I can only go ahead.
You can only imagine what.
I can only imagine what my son saw when he saw that black object in the kitchen. Now, coming from someone who has been told his whole life that don't worry about it, go back to sleep, what would have happened to me if I saw it?
Mm-hmm.
I might have passed out. you know, who knows? You know, to see something that big. You know, and when he told me, "Daddy, it was bigger than you," I'm like, okay, now it's posturing up on him.
Right.
That's what it was trying to do. It was trying to intimidate him. You know, and
Well, what I was going to say
aggravating.
before is this kind of thing. You said like you didn't your whole life. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. This thing confirmed that it's real. This stuff is real, and
yeah, very real.
yeah. And there are people who are going to hear this podcast and go, ha ha ha, yeah, whatever.
Right.
But you're here to tell them that, yeah, no, it's real and it's true.
No, it really is, man. I have no reason to lie. I'm not getting any fame out of this or anything. I met Johnny on Twitter, and we were talking about it. And I said, "Oh, you have that type of podcast?" I said, "I have a story."
Yep.
There's really nothing in it for me other than just sharing it with other people.
Well, we appreciate that, dude. I mean, this is like,
Yeah, no.
it's not every day that you get somebody who has an actual, removal story with multiple removers and, multiple, spirits and stuff. It's really
Right. I don't wish it on anyone. I really don't.
Yeah. And exactly, you don't wish that on anyone. And here's somebody's stupid ex-girlfriend trying to put a demon hex on the
That
guy,
shit crazy.
on the guy. Yeah, so what? Maybe he cheated on you. Okay, but that's okay. Like you said, slash his tires.
Yeah, cut his tires.
Spray paint his car. Spray paint his car. You know what I mean? Like do something.
Right.
The flaming dog shit on his front
Don't
step.
invoke
Something.
the forces of hell on him.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just, come on.
You don't deserve that.
Yeah, nobody deserves that.
No, not at all. No.
Right on,
Well-
Asgardian, and you go on Exo-Americanas,
Yeah,
excuse me.
every once in a while I go hang out with the White Power Ranger and Stone
Right
and
on.
Wooderson. We go shit post on there.
Right on. Yeah, they mentioned that before. We might do a little bit of a crossover with them. And again, and thank you for the upcoming crossover. And we're going to keep that a little bit of a secret. But,
that's going to be a big show.
Yeah, for you, the listener, we're going to have a very big crossover on the Paranormies coming up.
It should be a lot of fun.
Thanks to my buddy.
Is it going to be a crossover between Johnny Monoxide and a decent internet connection?
I know,
Shots
right?
fired.
Well, this is coming from no. See, and Hazzard, that's really funny coming from you, buddy. Considering.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm all good now that I'm on.
No, I know.
Wi-Fi.
This dude, he's talking all kinds of shit now. He's got a hard line. So. But
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We talk shit about each other's internet connections.
We talk shit
and ghosts. And you know what's funny?
Hey, you know what Stone asked me to tell you? Stone said from Exo Americanas, he wanted to know if they made pint-sized Olympic bars for you.
Oosh. No, I use a regular Olympic bar. I don't
know. Stone, don't kill the messenger. Stone told me to ask you that.
That's all good.
Well, ask American Exodus Americanus if they can make a good podcast, because so far I'm out.
All right.
Funny.
But we love all the guys on our side of the TRS war right now, and you guys know that we're involved in a podcast war, right? No.
No, you're in a war.
Oh, it's basically the Daily Show.
We're the current belligerents. The Daily Show, the
Fatherland, Fascination,
Fatherland,
yeah, the big three
against the War Room, Exodus Americanus, us, and Nationalist Public Radio.
Well,
dude, not for nothing. The Fatherland is like listening to paint dry.
Love you, Braden.
Shots fired! Oh God.
God, come get it, bro. I'll be at TRS-omania, bro. I'll be the true tag team partner. Like
no, we already said Asgardian. Yeah, that's the deal. Asgardian and me, we're going to be Master Blaster, except.
Yeah, Lord Humongous.
That's right, Lord Humongous. That's right. Yeah. But it's
God.
But here's the thing: is the Daily Show is claiming that intersectional alt-right is on their side, when intersectional alt-right is the one who started the fight against them. So I don't get how that meme even works. But,
bullshit. DeMarcus ain't on that side.
Exactly. Yeah, DeMarcus.
No way.
DeMarcus Leibowitz is on our side. So
the Nick Kike.
That's right.
All right, guys.
You know what we didn't do this show? Actually, we haven't done a whole lot of this show. Is we didn't tie anything into the Jews.
No.
Yeah.
That's okay. It doesn't always have to be.
I feel like we didn't accomplish. No, I'm just kidding.
We're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah, for
I
not.
know.
For not.
This was a real normie podcast, guys. What the fuck?
No mention of the JQ and no tendies. What the fuck?
No JQ, no tendies. Sorry, guys. This is a legit story about a fucking haunting. So that's the way that one went.
Well, right on, bro. Well, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it, and I had a good.
Awesome, dude. We had a great time.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and
all right, guys.
Come back on anytime. And
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd be glad to come back on.
Right on. All right, dude. You gonna take off?
All right, guys. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great day.
All right, take care, brother.
Bye, guys.
So.
All right, Hazzard. That was cool, huh?
Yeah, that was a good app.
I like it. We we can shit post for the last 5 minutes or so now. You can tell everybody again about our social media.
We are Twitter as @the_Paranormies. I got a notification earlier today that we just broke 400 Twitter followers. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. Keep spreading it.
Nice.
Our email is paranormiespresent@gmail.com, and you can email us donations at the same email address. We've gotten a couple so far. We've already shouted you guys out. You know who you are. Thank you so much.
That's right. We appreciate it, guys. And we are going to get out of here until next week. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and are feeling all fat. I'm actually,
If there was an invasion of Native American ghosts, fuck off.
That's right. Yeah. So we'll talk to you next week. And
instead of holy water, just get a priest to bless some whiskey. That's been shown to be particularly effective against those fuckers.
I don't even think you got to get a priest to bless it, to be honest with you. All right. We are going to finish this up and take you guys out with another creepypasta. We will see you next week. Later.
More ham for Gizmo.
Aww.
I've always loved the movies. As a film fan, my attention would instantly snap to the TV when I caught a commercial for an upcoming movie. Most of the mindless, overproduced garbage Hollywood churns out is pretty forgettable, so whenever I discovered an indie film with a relatively fresh concept, I was excited to see something different. Recently, I caught a commercial for an upcoming limited-release thriller called Quiet Room, which I found pretty intriguing. The story features a serial killer with a twisted sense of morality, who picks his victims based on what he feels they add or detract from society, and his killing methods reflect how they've hurt others around them. I've only seen 2 different TV spots for this movie. Both were pretty similar, with just slightly different narration and video. However, one night while watching SportsCenter, I saw a new TV spot for Quiet Room that I'd never seen before, and I found it to be absolutely chilling. It opened with the title in white text on a black background, which it displayed for about 5 seconds. That led to a second screen of similar text, which simply said, "I'm coming," centered on the screen. The text was accompanied by the sound of several people quietly sobbing. Upon looking closer, I could make out about 6 dark silhouettes of people in the background. There were no film clips in this spot, nor was there a "coming soon to theaters" message. I found this to be pretty unsettling, but probably a viral marketing tactic, so I watched some cartoons to settle my mind so I could get to sleep. The next day, I ran into my friend Jeff, and we decided to have lunch together. Our conversation eventually led to this bizarre and creepy commercial I saw during SportsCenter. I was shocked to hear that Jeff had also been watching SportsCenter last night, but didn't see the same commercial. Instead, he saw one of the original TV spots. I protested and described it in detail, but he had no clue what I was talking about. Naturally, this left me a little rattled regarding what I saw, but a few days elapsed and I found myself settling back into my normal routine, which included my daily SportsCenter fix. The disturbing commercial had nearly escaped my mind before I saw it again. It seemed the same as before, however, everything seemed to be intensified. The wailing was louder, and the dark figures were easily recognizable this time. After collecting my thoughts for a few moments, I quickly called to Jeff to ask if he had seen it this time, but again he replied no and hung up, probably thinking this is just a prank. My mind started to lose focus and I began to doubt what I had seen and heard. I went to the kitchen and made myself a snack, watched some more cartoons in the living room to help ease my mind, which didn't really help this time, and decided it was time to try to get some sleep. I made my way to my bedroom and I was strangely able to find sleep quite easily. In the middle of the night I woke from my sleep. I swore I could hear something odd, but couldn't quite make it out. The unsettling thoughts of Quiet Room came rushing back into my brain, instantly putting me on edge. I settled down and tried to pinpoint the noise, thinking it was all in my head. It seemed to be the sound of intense wailing, exactly as I had heard it through the TV. Intense panic set in as I pulled the blanket over my head in an attempt to muffle the noise, but it only grew louder. The sadness of those beings saturated my mind. As I tried to block out these horrible voices, I noticed a shadow pass right across my blanket, but I was too afraid to pull back the sheets to see if it was just a bird flying by my window or something sinister lurking inside of the room. Suddenly, I felt something cold touch my toes beneath the blanket, and I curled up into the fetal position in my bed, trembling with fear. A few moments passed before the blanket is ripped out of my grasp and I could see what has entered my room. The image of a thick black figure stood at the side of my bed. There were no ears, nose, or eyes on its head. A wide, grinning mouth was its only feature. The urge to scream filled my mind, but nothing escaped my mouth. The creature seemed to soak up the terror that I'd become saturated with before it cocked its head gently to the side and thrust a sharp, piercing claw into my chest. I managed to catch one last glimpse of the creature standing over me, as if utterly satisfied before everything went silent and black. I woke up lying on the floor. I didn't know how much time had passed, but it was still obviously pitch black outside. I grabbed my chest where I was attacked by the creature and found no wound and no blood. Normally I would give a sigh of relief since I realized it was simply a nightmare and I fell out of bed. But all I could feel was dread and intense sadness. The type of heartache you feel the moment you discover a loved one has died. I picked myself up and stumbled up to the light switch, but I couldn't quite find it. The only light coming in was the window. As I examined it, it was far larger than normal and looked otherwise abnormal. As I approached it, I could see words written on it in reverse. It said, Nimak Mul. Terror filled my mind as I realized what had happened. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I turned around to see 6 dark figures circle around me, crying intensely. The sense of sadness I initially felt increased exponentially as I, too, began to cry uncontrollably. The light from the window was the only comfort in this horrible place, so I made my way toward the window so I could look out. The only thing I could see was my friend Jeff, sitting on his couch, watching us.